Excuse the hair. I've been out in the rain. I'm going to try this again because my last video got taken down and I'm trying to appeal it. But I wanted to read you something that I wrote for one of my classes. Colonization turned inward. America was born in conquest and never stopped perfecting it. The first empire it built was here, on stolen land with stolen labor under stolen ideals. The reservation and the plantation were laboratories of domination that taught the young republic how to rule, extract, and erase while calling it freedom. When the Civil War ended, the country didn't repent, it rebranded. The Confederacy lost its war but won the narrative. There were no reparations, no trials, no justice. Enslavers became politicians and businessmen. Confederate monuments rose across the South, and the Klan marched in daylight under police protection. White supremacy didn't die, it got institutionalized. That refusal to face the past metastasized into every century that followed. Jim Crow replaced slavery, redlining replaced chains, and mass incarceration became the new plantation. The war on drugs criminalized blackness itself, turning poverty into a crime and prison labor into a corporate enterprise. The same families who once traded in slaves now profit from cages. The logic of colonization never changed. Control, extract, erase. Only the branding did. Meanwhile, the empire turned inward. America's first foreign colonies were the Philippines, Guam, Puerto Rico, and Hawaii. It occupied Cuba, Haiti, and Nicaragua. It crushed independence movements, called it civilizing, and drew maps in other people's blood. In the 20th century, it overthrew governments in Iran, Guatemala, Chile, and Congo. Assassinated leaders, funded death squads, and called it freedom. From Korea to Vietnam, Iraq to Afghanistan, the empire wrapped itself in moral language while leaving charred earth and mass graves behind. We were raised to believe this was normal, indoctrinated from childhood to see empire as virtue. We stood for the pledge before we could read, memorized wars we never questioned, and cheered for soldiers we were told were saving the world. Hollywood turned invasion into spectacle. Textbooks turned G-side into settlement. The flag became both shield and weapon. Every lie was stitched into the mythology of exceptionalism. That America's power was proof of its goodness. Now that myth has collapsed inward, the same tactics used to control the colonized are being used against citizens. The surveillance state built for Baghdad now monitors Baltimore. The counterinsurgency methods tested in Kabul now appear in Chicago. The propaganda refined abroad now fills domestic airwaves. The empire has come home and found a new frontier. Us. And still the violence abroad continues. The U.S. bombs leveled Gaza, paid for with our taxes, justified as defense. The administration funds a G-side and calls it strategy. Meanwhile, American drones illegally bomb Venezuelan fishing boats under the guise of the war on drugs, killing civilians who vanish without acknowledgement. This is empire stripped bare, domination without pretense, extermination marketed as order. Trump didn't create this machine, he simply turned its guns inwards. He declared war on his own citizens. Protesters became terrorists, journalists became traitors. Federal agents patrolled American streets like foreign soldiers. Governors were ignored, courts defied, budgets seized. Every instrument of empire now serves a single purpose: domestic control. And through it all, we keep congratulating ourselves. We call this country a beacon of freedom while it runs the largest prison system on earth. We fund mass death abroad and call it defense. We cage children in detention centers and call it policy. We bomb the hungry and call it leadership. And still we toot our own horn of exceptionalism, deaf to the screams that make the music. Trump isn't a break in the story. He's the story's ending, written in bold. He's the Confederacy's resurrection, the empire's reflection, and the harvest of centuries of denial. Every punished atrocity, from slavery to G-side, from coups to concentration camps, made him possible. The truth is simple. America never stopped being a colony, it just moved the borders. The government that once conquered others has turned on its own. The empire didn't fall, it came home. And the myth we were raised on, the story of goodness, freedom, and destiny, was the camouflage that let it happen. The anthem still plays. The flags still wave. The nation still insists it's exceptional, even as it devours itself. The colonizer has finally come home, and it's wearing red, white, and blue.